as we kind of wrap up our time, we've talked going ahead. So let's go there. Let's talk about what do you see on the horizon or what's on the future in terms of antibiotic resistance and antibiotic usage.
Well, that's a great question. So, and I'll give you because it's the future. I give you the 5 minute, 5 mile guarantee. But when you look at what's going on and what I think is already in discussion on the horizon, there are a couple things to pay attention to. The first is there's a lot of discussion at various government levels about how do we fix the supply pipeline of new antimicrobials. So there's actually some legislation that's in process now to try and subsidize to some degree the development of new antimicrobials and disconnect the potential profitability of those drugs from their adoption or use. And so there's some encouragement to develop new drugs. It's a very expensive process, especially in the U.S., where the sponsor bears the most of the brunt of the approval process in terms of cost. And so there are new strategies being developed to that, which I think are important and very positive. On the negatives, there'll be more restriction against use in animals. So currently, prevention, control, and treatment are the three FDA-defined activities, for which you can use an antimicrobial, and obviously prevention is the one that's currently getting the most scrutiny. It has a very specific definition, and I think we have to make sure that we help people understand that as it's defined. But that one it may be on the way out. That might be the next target we need to think about in terms of how do we preserve that. Definitely more reporting. It's voluntary at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be that way for long. We've noticed state by state legislation that has started to require reporting. So new legislation in Maryland, there's been some bills introduced in New York, a couple of other states. And, this would be a long time strategy to introduce these provisions at the state level until ultimately there's some momentum to do it at the federal level. So be on the lookout for that. I think states without large livestock economies, might potentially offer a little resistance to that because they don't necessarily appreciate the impact. And they may have an overestimate of the value of those activities. So we have to pay attention to that. And then I think in terms of folks in ag, those are going to find ways to lessen the need for antibiotics the fastest. Are going to be the best positioned in the future. So if you take the Wayne Gretzky approach, you want to know where the puck is going. Figuring out how to use less antimicrobials at all levels is going to put you in a better position, regardless of which of those other ideas truly happens down the road.